All right, it is 7:01 PM. We will call this city council meeting to order. If we could all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, doing roll call, Councilmember Holmgren and Councilmember Lundin are absent tonight. They did let us know they would not be here. We will open up the public comment. If there's any public comment at this time, you're more than welcome to come forward and just state your name and address for the record. Thanks for coming in, Todd.
Yeah, no problem. Todd Christensen, County Commissioner, District 4. I just thought I would come in and, has Jason updated you guys yet on CASA 5?
Yep.
Roundabout and everything?
He did.
So, okay, I didn't know, yeah, I was gonna talk to you a little bit about that, but if he already updated you, so. That was crazy though, finding an asbestos pipe down there, and it's a real shame, but I mean, at least we're getting it'll hold until next spring, as
Yep.
far as the grant goes and everything, so. And then, I was gonna find out too, I had to leave earlier, a personal thing, how did it go with, did the school come in for questions at all, or?
No, so the school couldn't make it tonight. We had scheduled them for roughly 5 o'clock, and they notified us, I believe, yesterday that they couldn't make it because they had a meeting at 6 PM at their intermediate school.
Well, that's kind of disappointing, but like I say, it would have been good to have them here answering questions though, but anyway, any other questions for me as far as the county goes?
I do have one for you, actually,
Okay.
now that you're here. So I have been talking to more community members out by the intermediate school here in town where 8th Avenue and Heritage meet. There's that intersection there that's kind of a problem. I know next year you guys are planning on repaving that, but I've talked to the engineer, and I really think that it should be considered. I know you already have plans, but it should be considered to add a traffic control of some sort there, probably a roundabout.
Probably another roundabout.
And, right now, Justin had said, it's not in the plan, but it's in the plan in the future. But if you're gonna be spending all this money to repave it and they wanted to do some like median work there now,
Right.
why not just do the roundabout and not have to cut out that work in a few years, and I think that would alleviate a potential issue that we have, for safety, first of all, for increased traffic flow with some development, and then we have another access issue to another property that might help.
No, just to clarify, so past Colburns and down where
Yep.
you turn to get into the school down there?
Correct, yep, it's
Okay.
8th Avenue, yep.
Okay, yeah, because I have driven back by there before, and there is a lot of traffic.
And it's dangerous for kids, there has been a child hit there in the
You got the
past.
school buses going in and out and
Yep.
everything too, so.
So that would be a perfect spot for a roundabout, and I did talk to Justin about it, I just wanted to get it on your radar.
Okay.
Maybe it's, the state stuff has already been approved, but as you've seen with our state stuff, we just did a redo on the bid in a couple weeks, so maybe this is something that
Yeah,
we
I'll
could look
talk-
into, because
yeah.
that's a long-term future thing, you're gonna need something there, you might as well do it now instead of cutting out money that you already spent, so that was just something that I thought I'd bring up. It's been a pretty heavy topic, when I was out campaigning over in that area, not everybody, a vast majority had an issue with that intersection, so.
I can see where that could be an issue over there, there's no doubt, especially when the kids are going to school,
Yep.
So, alrighty, anybody else got any questions?
I do have one question for you.
No? You have one?
We discussed in the past that people had concerns with whiskey. I was wondering if the county had any
Are you
progress.
referring to the speed limit sign?
Not necessarily just speed, but just trying to address it as a whole. Whatever the path is towards safety there, talking about kids walking.
Well, we had discussed, like, one of the times I was in here and we discussed, and I had been talking to Justin about that too, going through the process of, where it says end, what is it, end of the 30 mile
Yep.
an hour? Because then right after that, you have another crosswalk, so it'd be nice to be able to get that past the crosswalk at least, so.
I think we need to go a lot more firm on that, if it were me. I mean, it's your county road, right? But the state is supposedly telling the county that the speed limit can't be changed. So I don't know,
Well,
that's
yeah,
an ongoing
I know
conversation.
There's some steps to go through there too,
Yeah.
but, so I'm gonna update, I'll talk to Justin again
Okay.
about this over here, and then I'll see what's going on with the update on the whiskey, so.
Okay,
Alrighty, guys.
Awesome.
Good, all right.
yeah, thank you for coming in, we
All right,
appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
I gotta ask you a question. I thought it was clarified that in order for a speed limit to go up and down, up or down on a county road, there has to be a speed study. Okay. And if that speed study shows that the traffic's actually going faster than the speed limit, they can raise the speed limit.
Supposedly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Supposedly, that isn't all in cement?
It's complicated. I feel like there's gotta be some sort of exception there, if the city and the county agree to, I don't know. So that's something to look into. All right, any other public comment tonight? Hearing none, Ms. Wood, you had an announcement to make?
I do. Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is Josie Wood, the City Administrator. I wanted to take a moment to address a recent issue that came to our attention regarding our city Facebook page a little earlier this evening, and more specifically, the blocking of certain words and comments and posts. First and foremost, I want to sincerely apologize to anyone who was affected by this. The filter that caused certain words to be blocked was unintentionally activated due to a toggle setting that remained on without our knowledge. This setting is designed to limit offensive and inappropriate language, but unfortunately, it also blocked legitimate conversations, and for that, city staff is truly sorry. We deeply value the voices of everyone in our community. It was never our intention to restrict comments. Those comments have been unhidden. As soon as we became aware of the issue, we took immediate steps to correct it. By adjusting the setting, we're also putting in place new checks to ensure that this doesn't happen again in the future, such as reviewing this toggle setting when Facebook does their updates. Again, I apologize for the inconvenience and any frustration this may have caused, and thank you for your understanding.
Thank you, and you guys did a great job. You adjusted that on the fly in, a few minutes, so. Facebook has been a little glitchy with some of that stuff. You see it in all sorts of pages, so I appreciate you guys fixing that, and we'll keep a diligent eye on that. Next, we'll move on to adopting the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda tonight?
Yes, Mayor, we do have an agenda item being added as K2, Resolution for Social Media Archiving.
All right, sounds good. Any other changes or additions from you guys?
Motion to adopt?
Second.
Motion to adopt from Councilmember Peterson, second from Councilmember Heeman. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 3-0. The agenda is adopted. Next, we'll go on to the approval of the city council meeting minutes. We'll do both at once unless somebody has something to pull out or change.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion approved by Councilmember Heeman, second by Councilmember Peterson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Announcements, Park and Rec Board meeting Tuesday, October 28th, 2025 at 6 p.m. City Council meeting Wednesday, November 5th, 2025 at 7 p.m. Economic Development Authority, Wednesday, November 5th, 2025, immediately following the City Council meeting. City offices will be closed Tuesday, November 11th in observance of holiday. Isani Hills Final Assessment Hearing, Tuesday, November 18th, 2025 at 7 p.m. Council Committee Reports, are there any tonight?
You want me to go first?
Go ahead.
Community Ed resumed. They talked about highlights from the summer of what they did with summer programming and attendance. Mentioned the school referendum. And then we also had the Chamber of Commerce had their meeting, and it was basically just I'm trying to think of the word, networking meeting. They move you to different tables every 30 minutes with different discussion topics to get you talking to different people in the community. That was it.
How was that networking? I think that's usually a pretty good one. When I was on there, as a city rep, they always seem to have a lot of questions, and it's nice to be able to answer them in a format where they feel comfortable. Did you have a lot of questions or not particularly?
With the people I was sitting with, there was a joint one between the North 65 Chamber and the Bram Chamber. And the first one I got put with like 4 or 5 bankers that were all not, I don't think any of them were in Isani. I think they were all either in Cambridge or Bram, so
Okay.
didn't really have anything I could help them with.
Okay. Well, it's good you go to those, so they can be very valuable. George, you want me to go first? I don't have much of one.
Go ahead.
All right, so I've been the school board liaison for the city of Isani for the last 3 years. I've been to a lot of the school board meetings over that time, and I've learned a lot about how this stuff works, and I just wanted to inform people that there is a referendum vote coming up November 4th. City of Isani residents will vote at Isani Community Center. I believe it's 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. It's important that everybody knows that there is that election. and to, you know, be informed on what it is and make your decision to vote. That's all I got to say. November 4th, get out and vote.
All right, Fire District Board meeting, I discussed what we, you know, the consensus we had here about having a committee and go over some of the things that we're discussing with the joint powers agreement. I did have the attorney get back to me, actually the night of that meeting, and he said cities and townships do have the authority to charge for extraordinary fires. I
Did he,
didn't get to have the discussion with him whether or not, he was in the opinion too that he wasn't sure how that fee would get collected. I didn't want to spend more time, I just wanted to see if what we were looking at was possible, and it is. It's just a matter of how we word it in the joint powers agreement. I tried to explain that to the fire board. I got shot down on that, and they said they'd already discussed it, but they've never discussed it. It wasn't, they said it was discussed at the last meeting, which I absolutely know it wasn't, because I went in and as soon as I explained to them that we wanted more time to discuss it here as a board, we shut that discussion down. So the meeting before that, I wasn't at. The meeting before that, it definitely wasn't discussed. Kind of threw me for a loop that I got thrown under the bus a little bit on that, but Oxford Township they wanted more time on the ordinance authority. He needed more time to talk to his board, and he needed more time to talk to them about the budget. I asked a few budget questions, didn't get a lot of my questions out. Because I know I have more time now, because Oxford needed another month, so it bought me more time, and I thought I'd clarify exactly what you guys wanted for questions. Maybe send them to Josie, and I'll have a copy. I took some notes, and I made some, you know, marks on the budget that we had, but I remember us talking more than the marks I had on that budget. So
Sure.
maybe take another look at that.
did they say anything about a group, like a work session for the fire board? Because that was, I think, our biggest takeaway is,
We do. We need a work session. I don't think it's gonna happen anytime soon. We'll see how this next meeting goes.
Was it proposed or they just weren't receptive to it, or?
I did mention it. I didn't get any feedback from anybody. It was a tough board meeting, guys. I'm telling you. It wasn't
so maybe,
fun.
maybe next month, you know, make a motion to start some sort of work session? Maybe that's what it takes. I mean,
Yeah, that's that's a good way of doing it. Just see if I can get some motions out of these guys.
okay.
And the stuff passed along again about making the meetings more available, or
The what?
making the meetings available to the public?
That isn't going anywhere right now.
All right, well, we'll keep working at it. We're a group, we're a team.
I'm gonna have to get another approach to this whole situation. I've got a few ideas. So I will be recording all the meetings, so I can go back, because what's happening at the meetings and what they say happen at the meetings are amounting to two different things in my eyes. So I'm gonna keep a voice record of it and move on from here.
Okay.
None of the budget stuff was addressed, though?
This board. I addressed a few of them, but I don't get straight answers. I don't get common sense answers. I try to clarify it. I don't get common sense answers, and I try to clarify it and really take baby steps at it so I can get the answer. And I never get straight answers.
Like
I'm telling you, I
adjusting-
just don't get straight answers.
Adjusting CIP to maintain 0%, that was a no-go?
What?
Adjusting their CIP plan to maintain 0% for the budget adjustment, that was?
No, I didn't make that fight last meeting, because when Oxford decided to say they needed another month, I decided after
For the budget or
things
for
that
the-
happened before that, I decided to take a pass on a few of those things since I had another month
They need a month for the JPA or for the budget?
for the budget. So, yeah, the budget or the joint powers agreement are delayed for discussion till next month.
Okay.
So I did talk about a few of the things, but like I said, I got beat up pretty bad and I just backed off.
Fair enough. It's not always easy.
thanks
These
for
boards are,
trying.
these boards are difficult sometimes. Our jobs here are tough.
Thanks for trying.
Yeah.
My hands are up in the air on that one.
All
It
right.
should be an easy thing, but it isn't.
All right. Any other council committee reports?
Negative.
No? All right, so we will move on to business item K1, resolution to consider approving the determination of Minnesota paid leave law percentage for employee and employer. So I had asked to bring this forward just to have maybe a short discussion on what this means for the city. This is going to be, I mean, I've talked about this quite a bit. This is gonna devastate local economies, government, all sorts of entities across the state. And I want to set up our city for success if we can. Now, we have had some new hires recently, but I think we're pretty much fully staffed after tonight.
Yeah, we have 2 positions in the works that are actively, but they're not, there's no offer made, they're
Okay.
posted, but we have a couple open positions.
Sure. So tonight, I just wanted to discuss, we have, great city employees and great taxpayers, and I kind of want to make this an even playing field for everybody. And I would like to, in the future, with future work contracts or employment contracts, we have something on there that protects the residents, because these paid family medical leave things, you get paid time off. And whether we talk about adjusting PTO for new hires or adjusting some sort of benefits to compensate, for this, we don't want a situation where we have, a potential employee taking off using their PTO and then stacking it with this, and it just creates an undue burden for our taxpayers. So I wanted to have a discussion at some point about, maybe changing the contracts of future employment, to make it a little more favorable to the city to offset the impact of this paid family medical leave stuff. I didn't know if anybody had any ideas. It's really just an initial discussion, that was prompted because I saw this on here, and we're gonna have to do something about it to consider, the long-term impacts. It's supposed to be effective January 1st, and what is that gonna mean for us? So,
I do have some information to share too,
Sure.
just in regards to what this is. So the Minnesota Paid Family Medical Leave Act does take effect January 1st of 2026. The contribution depends on how the city sets who pays. The way that this is drafted for your consideration is a 50-50 split. 50% would be paid by the city, 50% would be paid by the employee. The state's plan was 0.88% of total wages. Staff did a great job. Human Resources and our finance director team went out and found other companies to compare against, and we were able to get that rate down lower to 0.76% of the wages. So that dollar amount comes to $27,317.22. Half of that, so roughly a little over $13,500, would be paid by the employee. It's a 50-50 share. The amount of money that comes from general fund and levy, so for the general fund and EDA, that would be $18,269.05. That's for the full premium.
sure.
And I'm sure that you're all aware, and I've looked at it because it does impact our city greatly. This is a law that we're not able to change or have really much discretion in. And when employees are able to use this, as it will be their right to do, there are some caveats with it, but it doesn't replace 100% of their wage. There is a tiered scale. It's a percentage. So depending on how much you make, it does get capped out. I believe that dollar amount, don't quote me, is just a little over $1,500 so per week. So it depends on what you make, if it actually pays you for being gone. So I just wanted to make you aware of that as well. It's not a full paycheck, because some people did think that, but it definitely is a paid leave bank. It'll be similar operated to how workman's compensation is with this outside vendor that you have to apply for it and such.
Sure. Did you guys have any input on that? Thank you for all the information, by the way, and I'm happy to hear you guys got a lower rate. I know we had talked about that at the LMC. I fought to have local choice in this at the League of Minnesota Cities because I think local jurisdictions should decide on something like that. You know, I'm personally worried about the schools and the hospitals especially. You know, if you have this opportunity to take time off and it's paid and you have even 5% of the school district or 5% of the nurses or hospitals take it, what does that mean for the services in our area? So I fought to get some local choice in that, and it wasn't successful this year, but I'm gonna come back next year again. But in the meantime, what do you guys think we should do to protect our city? You know, it's not really a fun conversation, but it's a conversation that has to be had, so. Have any creative ideas? Are you guys okay with considering maybe the future contracts for workers we look at and see is there, maybe we can offset some of the PTO they get with something like this. They also get to earn sick and safe time. Also, that's another thing that was rolled out this January 1st, which is again, similar to PTO.
I think a
So,
lot of overlap. We got a presentation from, about this at the September chamber meeting.
yep,
They had someone come in and give a presentation for probably half hour and then do a bunch of Q&A. But I mean, like, all these things are just kind of overlapping, and it's really hard to get a true picture of how much of an employee you can depend upon. And then, like, they talk about there being some kind of grant you could apply for if someone applies for this to offset the costs of an interim employee to come in and fill in, but they have no idea how big that pool will be and how many applicants there would be and how they determine who gets what amount of money. And it's just a lot of unknowns with a lot of risk involved.
and a lot of money for everybody,
Right, financial risk.
yeah.
But I know that the 50% is the most we can, the even split is the most in favor of the taxpayer you can go.
Mm-hmm.
And then the rate seems better than what they were saying the one that the state plan was doing. So that's another savings.
Sure. Yeah, I think K1 here is good. I just wanted to open the conversation for, you know, future, like, do we consider that? Or do we have a discussion on cow? Maybe get that on a cow agenda to talk about, look at some specific work contracts that we do have, maybe non-labor or non-union contracts that we can adjust, you know, to sort of compensate for that. Because that's what businesses are doing. You know, I've talked to a couple local businesses, and they're protecting themselves by basically, they have to adopt these two policies, the earn sick and safe time and the Minnesota paid leave, so now they're just offering their employees less other benefits.
Or more contractors and less employees.
Or, yeah, so maybe that's a discussion we have. I don't know if you guys want to get that on Kyle, but that was kind of where I was going with the discussion tonight, just to get it started and get you thinking.
So this resolution that
This
is on here.
resolution is to enter into an agreement with Sun Life, who is that other vendor, not going with the state plan. We do need to have the council vote on not going with the state plan, and that it'll be a 50-50 cost share, 50% to the city and 50% to the employee.
Do they have to have some sort of bond or something to back that money, or how does that work legally? Do you know if Nick dove into that? I just worry that these companies are gonna be way more inundated with these requests than the state expects.
I don't understand how the math checks out.
The math doesn't, so I'm worried that if they don't have the money to cover it, then who's on the line?
Guaranteeing it?
Yeah, a guarantee like a surety bond or anything that backs them. We're paying into them, so what if they go bankrupt and we've already paid in? How does that work?
I have not looked into this
Okay.
as much as HR and finance, but I believe that they're just the administrator. It still is going through the state's pool of money. They're just administrating it as a third party.
So would that put us at a disadvantage with the state? Say if the state were to run out of funds or we're short on funds, would they give first dibs to funds to the state enrolled programs versus the contractor? Because that is a very real problem that they say that they think they have enough for like 6 months of paid up front. But,
I'd like to say theoretically no, but I don't
Okay.
know the answer.
okay.
You have a concern that if we go with the outside the state system, that we might have paid into a system that we get nothing out of?
Correct.
And have to go back to the state and re-enroll into that?
just a devil's advocate type question. Is this something we have to decide on this month?
Perhaps not this month. It could maybe be wait till the next
2 weeks.
meeting, but it does need to get sent over to the state, I believe.
Okay. I would like to make a motion that we table this and we can get more information to just assure that we're paying into something that we're not gonna get shorted on if it comes down to it. Are you guys okay with that motion, or
Yes.
anybody second it?
I'll second it.
All right, motion by myself, second by Councilmember Heeman. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
If I could just make a correction?
Sure.
Is to postpone it to the November 5th meeting, if you.
2 weeks.
Yeah, so if you can include the November 5th meeting.
Sure.
It'll be postponed till.
Postpone until November 5th, that is my motion. And there is a second by Councilmember Heeman. Are you still good with that second?
Yep. Oh, you're talking.
George, are you still good with the second with the November 5th? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Thank you. Next, we'll move on to business item K2. Resolution to consider authorizing the city to enter into a service agreement with Page Freezer for social media archiving.
Yeah, so mayor and council, as the city's social media presence continues to expand, our accounts have been increasingly active and interactive. I've shared this information also a little bit ago at committee of the whole. While this growth reflects strong community engagement, it also has a significant challenge to maintaining consistent and compliant archiving practices. So what staff has done, Ms. Strand has reached out to 4 companies and reached out to them for their services of archiving our social media pages. It's the City Hall, the main city Facebook page, liquor store Facebook page, and police Facebook page. So due to the Data Practices Act, we're required to keep all that data and content and keep that available for data retention purposes. And so this would be automatically digitizing, taking those as comments come in, if they get revised or edited, and keeps track of all that. So it can all be recalled if needed, which is our responsibility.
All right.
The cost for this would be $1,728 per year. We could give it a try for 1 year. There is a little bit of a training fee, $275. This was the lowest cost vendor that we were able to find. And try it for a year, make sure it's being effective and doing what we need to decrease any liability.
All right, I'm good with it. I think it's something that will save staff time, and it's just a necessary evil, unfortunately.
I'll make
More
a motion
discussion.
to approve. Unless,
Nick, go ahead, you have discussion.
Just the same points we discussed earlier. Mr. Christensen, are you aware of what the county does if they do anything with social media and then archiving public interaction, if they allow public interaction?
Yeah, no, that's something I would like them to do more of.
Todd, could you come up to the microphone? If you, sorry. Or she can give you the microphone right there. Thank you.
You can go on the county website and you can watch, the county commissioner meetings and the other ones as well, but we don't do any live streaming or anything like that, so.
Do you know if they track the comments? I know Iceni County makes posts on Facebook, and you're supposed to track all the comments as public record and retain all that. Do you know if the
That
county
would
does
be-
that, or how that works?
That would be something for our county administrator, probably.
Okay.
So, I'm not too sure on that one.
Okay. Thank you.
can you add comments to their meetings?
On their website.
Not on their website, but they do have a Facebook page and that they post on, so
Oh,
people comment
okay.
there. So, all right. Well, we had a motion. You still good with your motion, George? Motion to approve?
Sure, motion to approve.
All right, I'll second it. Motion approved by Councilmember Heeman, second by myself. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries 2-1. Okay, next, we will go on to the consent agenda. I did just want to point out item L2. I really appreciate that you guys did a great job getting competitive bids, saving over $1,000 per year on the new 5-year contract. That's awesome. Any little bit that we can save here and there is greatly appreciated for everybody. So I just want to give you guys a shout out for that. I did have a question also on L6. Did we just receive notification of of winning this bid, or did it get lost in translation when Finance Director Betker passed away?
So this grant it actually was discussed, I don't know if it was council or committee of the whole, probably was, October of 2024, so a year ago. It was talked about staff applying for this grant.
Sure.
And we were awarded it, but then nothing had happened. We had some transition of staff happen. We have to make sure, and I couldn't find by resolution that had gone to council in this last year, so we wanted to make sure, just for auditing purposes, that we brought that council approved accepting the grant, and it's a reimbursement grant, so wells will be sealed. Mr. Becker has worked to get quotes that is less than what the value is, so we'll be able to get reimbursed 100% of the expenses of sealing those wells in the Duisma area. We have to get it done by the end of this year, and we're running out of time for
Yep.
weather-wise, so we just want to make sure we crossed every T and dotted every I.
Okay, I wasn't sure if they had just got back into us and expected to get it done in a month and a half.
No, it sounds like we knew that we were getting this last year.
Okay, so it's just the transition period that we unfortunately had to deal with. Okay, and is there any concern about getting them all done in the next 2 months? There was
No.
only 5, I think it
Nope,
said.
we're actually going to get started tomorrow if
Okay.
everything passed as was needed.
Sounds good. And then on item L3, I guess I'm a little confused on the layout and specifics of the My Cause, My Kicks program. I'm always, a little bit skeptical on those, like, how much of the percentage of the donations goes back to the food shelf? Is it 100% or do they take their cut? I didn't see that anywhere in here, but I just was curious about that. I would assume, Keith would do his due diligence on it, but I just wanted to ask that question.
This would be probably a better Keith question. However, my understanding is that 100% of the donations that come in through our store, it goes back to the community or the organization that we are donating to and have identified. And that is a whole, they work with lots of different cities and liquors and all different things. They're a conglomerate, but the money doesn't go to them. It goes to the local.
Okay,
Yeah. Keith makes sure that everything goes back local. You can give it to them, but we've never done that.
sure.
Yep.
All right. Any other questions on the consent agenda, guys?
No.
I'll enter-
Motion to approve consent, second.
A motion to approve from Councilmember Heeman, second from Councilmember Peterson. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 3-0. The consent agenda is approved. Any other communications or questions from staff or council?
Motion to adjourn?
Nope, we have a
Oh,
public
closed
session.
session.
Yeah, closed session. So if there's no other communications or questions, I'll entertain a motion to go into closed session.
Motion to go into closed session?
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Peterson, second by Councilmember Heeman. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Therefore, we go into closed session.
If I could, Mayor, before we actually stop the recording, we will start the closed session at 7:45.
Okay.
And if you would read what the closed session is for.
Sure. So closed session pursuant to Minnesota Statute Subdivision 3D.03 Subdivision 1B regarding labor negotiation strategy, attorney-client privilege. Thank you. We are going into closed session.